This is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I am back with sketch number 10 from the Sketches for 6x6 paper pads, which is a paid content, so I cannot share the sketch with you. But this sketch uses 4 photos, and I'm actually only going to use 3 because I wanted to document these photos of when I went and got a pedicure for the first time after quarantine. So this was just a couple months ago, and I didn't take a whole lot of pictures, but I did want to document it that we got pictures taken and we were wearing our mask in the salon where we got our toes done. Now, I started out with this striped paper. It's like a cream tone-on-tone striped paper, and I really liked that for this collection, but because the floral paper was also on a cream, it just didn't look right, and so I struggled with it for a little bit, and I'm going to leave that for a while, but I will end up changing that. I did go ahead and pull out this 3x4 card that says Becoming More Beautiful Every Day, and that is what I'm going to use as my title. Here is where I go through my paper, and I cut out quite a bit of it. I just showed you, I think, like 2 or 3 sheets to show you that I did kind of go through my paper and try to find something. And I think that this coral color is beautiful with this paper, and I think that it really helps that coral on the floral stand out quite a bit. So I'm still struggling here. I don't like the way that that 3x4 card is looking against that green paper, so I go ahead and cut out this paper here. It has a bunch of ampersands on it, and I thought that neutral background would be perfect. This striped paper was on the cut apart sheet, and I liked this stripe better than the stripe that came in the 12x12 because it's on a diagonal where the other stripe was just like straight up and down, and I thought that with the banners that I'm going to put at the bottom, it would be better if it was on a diagonal. I went ahead and pulled out this sheet here, and I'm actually going to use my banner punch to punch out all of these different colors, and I love the way that that turned out. Being able to use that paper and get all of those different colors, which wasn't available in the larger sheets, and because it was a smaller print on that 12x12 paper, it allowed for a smaller print on the banner pieces, which is important if you're doing the banners this small. Now I do go ahead and distress all of the edges of the paper. I believe this is Peacock Feathers, which is probably one of my favorite like teal blue colors. Did put that teal polka dot paper right there in the center, and I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut it out. I'm just going to turn my paper over and make a small line down that with my X-Acto knife. The paper does rip a little bit, but I'm okay with that. So I was trying to put these banners in some type of order, and I did a pretty good job, but realized that I just didn't have enough paper to put them in like the exact order a second time around. So then I decided just to mix it all up because I didn't want it to look like I was trying to do a border and then not. I cut this banner piece in half, and so it's a lot larger than 1/4 of an inch. It's probably closer to like 1/2 inch, and I wanted to get as much of those banner pieces as I could. Like I wanted to see as much as them, so I went ahead and made a small gap between the banner pieces and the square paper, and it's going to be covered up by that diagonal strip anyways, and it allowed for maximum space on those banners. Now I did go ahead and just add the adhesive right down to the paper, and that made it a lot easier to get those banner strips down very quickly. I'm just going to use my T-square ruler and measure it from the edge of the square paper all the way to the center. That way I make sure that it is the exact length that I want it to be. So I thought about just doing 2 photos because 2 of the photos, the ones that actually end up on the left-hand side, are very similar. You do get to see my toes in one of them and obviously not in another one. And she was like doing a hot towel wrap in one of them. So they are different, and if you look closely at them, you can see the difference. And it really just came down to it looked better with 3 photos instead of 2, so I just went ahead and put both of them in there. I originally started out with 4x5 photos, but it was just covering up so much of the paper, and the sketch does call for 4x4 photos, so I went ahead and cut down the photos to 4x4, which allowed for a lot more of that background paper to show. Because the 3x4 card is now the same size as the 4x4 sheet, like height-wise in the background, I went ahead and cut out the teal piece around it so that you could still see the cream tone-on-tone pattern paper behind it. One of the great things about this class is that Allison Davis is providing us with videos of her sketches and all kinds of great examples, and it really changed the way that I thought about putting these clusters on the far left and the far right hand side. You will notice that I turn the layout on the right upside down, and one of her suggestions was to turn it upside down and then make them look basically the same, which is what I'm trying to do here. I do feel like I add a lot of embellishments to both the left and right hand side. That is the only embellishments that I do. I don't use, the triangle method of the clusters of 3, trying to draw your eye in. I feel like the sketch called for it to be in that diagonal, and it really does make your eyes pull into the center because there's so much to the left and right of it. I tried to make sure that I had equal elements. So I started out with a big pink floral in the bottom right and a big blue floral in the top left. And then I just looked for multiple stickers of the exact same shape. Now it could be different colors, and I was fine with that, but I just wanted to make sure that there was the equal amount of shapes in each cluster. So if I was looking for a butterfly, I tried to find another butterfly in the same size so that the clusters would look like they mirrored each other. I also added that word love on the far right hand side, and then on the far left hand side I added the memory recorded. Even though it's not the same word or even the same color or the same background type, because the word love has a lot smaller shadow than the memories recorded, I just felt like they still matched each other really well. I went ahead and pulled out these enamel dots from my stash as well. And these are actually in a heart shape. And I ended up using the brown and mustard color. It matched really well with the yellow that's in the paper collection. I will link below the sketchbook if you wanted to pick this sketchbook up from Scrapbook Generations. I think I've said it in all my previous videos, but it is a pretty amazing sketchbook, and I'm really enjoying going through and getting all of these sketches done. And this is number 10, so we are halfway there. That's super exciting as well. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've kind of fallen a little behind, but I'm okay with that as long as I am not too far behind, and I am just right there on the cusp of being behind. And I'm okay with being behind as long as I can get all of the sketches done, which that is my plan. So here is my final layout, and you can see all of the detailed pieces in each one of the clusters. I did add my journaling off camera, and I typed it up on my typewriter and used the ampersand paper, so it's the cream colored paper, and just added that to the bottom right hand corner. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's all you're going to get on my channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.